And we're back with another episode of Montu-Ra, the podcast. What's up, my guys and goddesses? It is the God, Young Montu-Ra, Young Seer, Young Sorcerer, Young Oracle. I'm musician, artist, producer, and DJ, and a ton of other things. But on today, I'm outside with the goddess energy, with the God energy, and we're going to talk about this new moon happening March 10th in Pisces. So let's break down some peak times. If you are on the Eastern Standard Time, it's going to be 4 a.m. on March 10th, 1 a.m. PST, 9 a.m. UK time, and 10 a.m. CEST time. So if you want to do your rituals, I would start to begin those during those times, depending on your time zone. So let's go into it. This new moon in Pisces, we have to understand that the astrological new year is happening around March 19th. So this is going to be that onset of the spring in the northern hemisphere. So most of us or some of us are getting ready for this pivotal time, because this is eclipse season as well. If you've been with me for this entire year since 2023, new year to now, we talked a lot about eclipses. We had that Aries eclipse. We had a lot of different energies starting to project us into this new season of our life, into this new transition. So this is what this, I believe, is going to be a prime time manifestation energy that is happening. But this lunation is a super moon, meaning that the moon is actually going to be in closer proximity to the earth, right? So this is a worm moon, so to speak, because spring is approaching us. Things are starting to come to life again, and I believe this is going to be the biggest supermoon of 2024. We will be feeling the full effects of this fucking energy upcoming to the maximum degree. I believe this is something epic. I'm actually having a vibrational situation. My nose is stopped up, my head's a little hurt. I'm not sick or anything. I just know I'm elevating to another vibration. I'm elevating to another frequency, and that's what happens with a lot of us spiritual people, is that we go through these different things, not understanding we are going through a huge major shift in consciousness. But this next major lunar event, I believe, is going to be that lunar eclipse on March 25th, and then a solar eclipse on April 8th. So we're right in the beginning of this new energy. We do have Mercury retrograde is going to happen April 1st. So that's something we're going to do a whole new episode, but we're getting ready for that shadow phase is coming here in the next week or so, and we're going to start feeling that energy as well. So the sun and moon in this mutable sign of Pisces is going to suggest that our ideological devotion to our spiritual and emotional matters, right? We're going to be starting to think and feel on why we feel a certain way. How can we access our spiritual guides? How can we access our spiritual energy more? And we might find ourselves focused on the immaterial. We might be daydreaming. We might be focusing on the unconscious. Nature. I'm outside. I love recording my podcast outside now. I love to be, we just hearing dogs barking. I love hearing the birds chirping. And this is something that I believe is helping me tap in, because we're trying to find ourselves. We're trying to devote ourselves to a greater cause. And I talk a lot about this just in my own personal life, is because for me, if I'm doing something, I got to get something out of it. I got to get a bag out of it. But I'm starting to learn that some of the things are what we're supposed to do. I'm not getting anything essentially out of some of this creative things that I'm pursuing, but I'm getting more out of it than I actually realize. And some of it might be because it makes us feel good. So that is something to think about as well, because we're all going to get something out of it, but it might be different than what we think, right? So this is something that I feel like is helping us with this new moon, is going to fill us with that compassion, that longing connection to be something greater than our own ego, to be getting out of our own way of not serving others or being closed off. Remember, this Pisces energy is about serving others. It's about the unconscious. It's about the unknown. It's about spirituality. It's about giving back. It's about charity work. It's about lending a hand, but it's also not about sacrificing ourselves. That's the other polar of this energy, is doing too much for others, not taking care of ourselves. So that is something that I believe is in connection with this new moon and with this new year coming. So while the sun and the moon are in Pisces, we're going to be devoted to the unexplainable, being very intuitive, being able to gather data. I know when things shift, when I have different interactions with others. I know when the energy shifts. I know when things are different. I can feel the energy when I walk into any room. I can know that and feel that. I know a lot of us can. But I do believe this Pisces new moon is going to honor the magical, right? We talked about the unseen, having a lot of different synchronicities, having a lot of different feeling like I know spirit is around me. Sometimes when I'm outside, I get goosebumps sometimes because I know a presence is around me, watching over me, or it might be trying to hurt me, one of the two. But at the end of the day, we can feel the energy, and we have to adjust, because we have to have direct faith in the unknown, right? And as a result of that, there might be some conflict between the need to articulate and the need to just simply be who we are and feel who we are. On one hand, we want to communicate and help others, like I said before, and on the other hand, we may not be able to emotionally connect with others as well. So this is something I believe this new moon in Pisces is going to ask us to honor the emotional part of the truth, and to integrate the logic and our intuition. But this is a time for dreaminess, imagination. That's why I believe this is the best time to manifest whatever it is that we desire, because we're going to be attracted to the beauty. We're going to be attracted to the mystery. I've been talking a lot of esoteric type things and a lot of occult type practices that I incorporated in my own life, because I believe there is truth in that, and we have to understand to explore the unconscious desires. And I know a lot of this shit sounds crazy, but for me, growing up and things like that, I had all the material things that a child could want, even as an older person or whatever, as an adult could want, in a sense. And what I realize is that the more stuff I get, it doesn't even matter. It's if I'm tapped in with me, to be able to appreciate myself, to be able to appreciate my life in the present. And that is what I believe this mystery is going to start unfolding for us, to really tapping into who we are. Because as the sun and moon unite in a mutable water sign, it can trigger that emotional response to make us feel more sensitive to emotions of others. Pisces is a compassionate sign. It enables us to read energy of a room. Like I said, it's like we can clearly think, allowing us to check our emotions and of others, having empathy for others. We're going into this deep end of the ocean. We're going down these rabbit holes. We can't get lost in the clouds. We have to understand that Pisces is an extremely emotional sign, but it has a lot of depth. A lot of Pisces I know are maybe addicted to different things, or have so many psychic abilities, and a lot of times, my actual moon is in my moon sign is Cancer, but it's in the 12th house of Pisces. So I know about understanding about not wanting to do certain things or being around a lot of people, because we can feel so much energy and it drains us so much. But this is something I want to make note of, is that we're all experiencing a heightened awareness, a heightened of our emotions. And I wanted people to understand this wild card that I've been talking a lot about is really that Uranus energy. It will be harmonious aspect with the moon, because that Taurus, that Uranus and Taurus and the moon in Pisces, this is going to be almost an erratic roller coaster ride through the day of this new moon, and kind of the upcoming days and a couple days after. So the planet Uranus has a tendency to stir things up. I tell everybody, expect the unexpected when you're talking about Uranus, because this is going to spark that passion. This is going to spark those situations that we may not be able to see the circumstances on how we got there or the result from them. But this is something to maintain our consistency. This is a vital point for us to connect with nature, art, music, and the earth. And I shared a video of me. I took a hike, I took my shoes off, took my socks off, I just started walking in the mud with my bare feet, because it's like I want to be able to tap in with the energy of the Most High, of the goddess energy. And I do believe this is something that we're all going to be connected with as well. But this is also about shedding, our old habits. This is going to be harmonious sextile with Uranus. Uranus is going to ask us to alter our old paradigm, in favor of this new one. And that is something that has been challenging for me personally, but a lot of us, we get comfortable in our routines, we get comfortable in our day-to-day, but we want more out of life. We want to be better out of life. We want to be, a better person, a better business, a better whatever it is. We want to be better, but that's going to take some being uncomfortable, and I do believe this is going to urge us to break free of our own shackles, of our old habits, of our old narratives, of our old self, to liberate ourselves and our self-esteem as well. So I do believe Uranus is going to help that tremendously, being in Taurus with that goddess of Venus energy. I'm going to do a whole episode on, obviously, Venus not going retrograde in 2024. It's tapping in to every sign, and I'm going to do a whole episode breaking that down, how that is going to be a very very beautiful time for us to really be able to use Venus in every sign and integrate that in our own personal lives throughout this year. So this new moon is going to arrive us to ask ourselves some questions. I believe is, how can we use our intellect to service our own intuition? How can we communicate to our spiritual truth rather than communicate with no compass of our own truth? Does my need for evidence serve for my argument more than it conveys what I actually feel? And also, what are our mental habits that I can release, or that we can release as well with this new moon? But this is going to be a very, I would say, maybe confusion there at its peak, because we're trying so hard to understand situations in life. But I believe later in the day, while Mercury taps in with Aries and links up with Pluto and Aquarius, we're going to have these polars being able to actually help us. We're talking Mercury and Pluto. Mercury being in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius, that fire and air. And then we have the new moon in Pisces with Uranus and Taurus. We're going to have that water and earth. So we're going to have all our elements here to help us understanding as well. And also, the day after the new moon, Venus is going to enter Pisces, intensifying our romantic feelings and our desire to connect with others. So this is a lot that we're going to process here before we get to this new year. I do think it is very important that we think with our hearts before rushing into anything, and listen to our own intuition before making any decision. And I'm always going to say that. Listen to yourself. Don't listen to others. I always take what anybody says, even myself, with a grain of salt. Do your own fucking research in anything in life as well. But I do believe this is my last point. I know I've been talking a lot crazy. My nose is running, but I just want people to understand. I believe this is the jumpstart to our future right now. We've made it through the transformation. Now we're going to start seeing the evidence of this transition that we've been experiencing, and we have a lot more things that are going to come. But I believe this is helping us to envision our wildest dreams. We're going to use this Pisces new moon to daydream on our dreams, to fantasize about our life and our future, and how epic it is going to be in the present moment, and our present future is going to be even more magnificent. But we're going to be able to be more inspired for our future. We're going to be more energetic with the present moment, because we know something is on the horizon. I can feel it. I know you all feel this fucking energy. It's crazy. Jumping out of my seat, and I don't even know what to do with myself half the time. But I believe this new moon is allowing us to quiet our minds and lead with our hearts to what we desire and want most in life. And then I believe then our dreams can and will come true. I appreciate everybody for tapping in on today's episode. Make sure you continue to stream 369 on Spotify, iTunes, all DSPs. Overstand, man is still out there popping. I'm coming out with some epic again. Much love to everybody. Make sure you follow me on my socials at official Montu-Ra, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Official Montu_Ra, TikTok, and Instagram. It's the God Young Montu-Ra, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.